guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belle and this is my mommy lifestyle channel. But if you're back, welcome back and I'm glad you're here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. The video before this was my postpartum video, and I did mention something in there that I wanted to explain further. I'm not really sure how this video is going to go. I haven't written any notes or anything like that, so I'm just going to go with the flow. So it might be lengthy, I might ramble, whatever. So in my last video I talked about breastfeeding and its, I guess, realness. So we're just going to talk about my breastfeeding journey or story. This is basically how my thoughts initially before giving birth about breastfeeding, what happened after I gave birth, and what's going on right now. So we're just going to go basically from beginning to end. When you're asked, are you using formula or are you going to breastfeed? I think women, they feel kind of pressured sometimes, unless it's a medical issue, to go ahead and say, I'm going to breastfeed, because our society is really focused on breast is best. So if you breastfeed, it's better for your child. And it's almost a sense of feeling pressured and just making a unconscious decision just because, you know, it's, I guess, more acceptable. So of course, I said I was going to breastfeed for many reasons. For the reason of I wanted my child to have the best nutrients possible. I wanted to have that bond, and it's what everyone was encouraging me, or I want to say encouraging, what everyone was telling me to do, or what I thought was expected of me. So I decided that I was going to breastfeed. I didn't really know much about breastfeeding. So I wasn't really nervous about it. I wasn't scared about it. I didn't really know what to expect as a first-time mother. Yeah, so I was just kind of going to go full force, do what I had to do. I didn't know what I had to do. I didn't really look much up about it, surprisingly, with all the research that I did. So I would say I wasn't fully prepared, but I just knew that that was what I guess I was supposed to do in order to be seen as a good mother or whatever. So when labor came, I went through labor, and after that they gave me Liam, and almost the first thing they try to do is try to get your baby to latch on. They try to get him to latch on, I think, to my right side. No, my left side, and we were doing like a hold where his head was here and I was holding his body. You can't see, but like under my breast. So he latched on pretty well, as far as I can remember. Breastfeeding is different. It's something you've ever experienced. You don't really know what it's going to feel like or anything like that. So I assumed he was doing good. The nurse said it looked fine. It seemed like he was getting something because he wasn't fussing. After that, they took him to do whatever he needed, and they got me situated so I can go to my postpartum room. Once that happened, they would bring him in every 2 hours so I could nurse him, because I had told them my plan for feeding was nursing. The first night, he would come in and eat, and then they would take him back to the nursery. The second night, me and his dad were on our own. He was in the room with us all night. Previously to coming into the hospital and having the baby, his dad had told me, like, he'd been around babies before. He kind of knew how to, I guess, care for a baby, take care of them, whatever. So it kind of made me feel kind of good, but at the same time, a little kind of useless. But I'm the kind of person that I will look stuff up, I will figure things out, and I'll just keep doing it so I get it right. So I wasn't really worried about that. But then I realized it was a totally different ballpark when it came to breastfeeding. I say that about his dad because later on the night when we were by ourselves, most of the time he had the baby. He would change him, he would hold him, stuff like that. And the only time that I really got any time with him was just the breastfeeding. Which then it wasn't a big deal, but then looking back at it, it's a little triggering. I wish I had spent more time holding him in the hospital and spending time with him rather than just breastfeeding, because the breastfeeding wasn't really going well, so it wasn't really a good time. it was painful, and there wasn't much milk coming out. Well, I didn't have any milk at the time. At first, I just had colostrum, which is like a thick, clear thing. It's not this before the milk. It's thick and it's not a lot, but apparently it has lots of nutrients in it or something like that. So I think he was getting it. I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell. So yeah, most of this stuff I haven't talked to anybody about. It's been really difficult to talk to people in my life about breastfeeding. So I've just kind of kept it to myself until now. So yeah, so I'm just trying to rethink everything. So yeah, the only time I got him really in the room was to just breastfeed, and it wasn't good. He was cluster feeding, which means he was eating like every 10 minutes, and he was fairly fussy, and I was really tired, and he was crying and I was crying, and it was just a really exhausting night. So I was like, okay, it's just one hard night. I said, tomorrow I'm going to talk to my patient consultant at the hospital. So she came around in the morning. She helped me with my latch. We got a better position. I felt good. I said, okay, well, now I think I know what I'm doing. That's more explained, because at the beginning, at first, the nurse was just kind of rushing. They didn't really explain it much to me. So like the patient consultant really thought that I was getting a good grasp of what I needed to do and what I needed to do to help him and what would help us work better together. And I was good. So that was the same day. That was the third day I was in the hospital. So that was the same day I was leaving. So I had planned to breastfeed, so I had no formula or anything like that. So we get ready to leave, and we pack everything up, pack it in the car, get home to my house, and my friends were here, his godmothers were here waiting for me to get home. So I get home and it's feeding time. He's hungry, so it's time to nurse him. So I sit in my rocking chair and I try to nurse him, and I can't even describe the feeling. I don't really know if it's because he was latching on wrong. I don't know if it's because my milk hadn't came in. I don't know if it's because my nipples were just sore, but it was excruciating pain. I want to say, honestly, to me, that was a pain that hurt more than even labor. Labor was way easier than breastfeeding. So it was hurting. I was kind of cringing. My mom was trying to help me, and I just told her, like, I just need him to get off. I just need a break. So as I'm asking for a break, she's like, okay, well, are you gonna do it now? Are you gonna do it now? Like, kind of, I don't want to say pestering me, but just kind of get so he can eat. So I was like, okay. So I keep trying and trying. It's not working. I don't know if he's getting anything, and he's screaming at me. He's crying at me, and like, it starts to hurt really bad. That I start screaming. I start crying and screaming at him, and it wasn't a good moment. Yeah. So after that, I was getting really kind of frustrated. I didn't know if it was something that I was doing wrong. I was frustrated because I couldn't get him anything to eat, and at that moment, I felt that was the only thing that I was really good for, or anything that I was really able to do for him as a mother that I was supposed to be able to do, and I couldn't do it. So what ended up happening is my friends had to go buy him some formula, because it was to the point my nipples, just air on them was hurting. I couldn't sleep in a shirt, I couldn't wear a bra or anything. Luckily, I didn't have any milk coming in really, so I wasn't leaking. I tried to pump that night, see if it'll get me circulating, if some milk will come, nothing. So it was a very sad day coming home. I feel like personally for me, I also mentioned in my postpartum video about postpartum depression, and I don't know if there's like triggers for it or anything, but personally for myself, breastfeeding is where I started to get sad, and what started to really make me kind of close off and be kind of silenced and kind of trapped in a sad state. and it kind of started my postpartum depression. After that, I would try to nurse him every once in a while. I think the day later my milk came in, so I started to pump. That was a little bit easier. He wasn't fussing, so that was fine. But I was pumping, and I would supplement. He'd get formula and breast milk from the pump. But while I was doing that, I was starting to feel more confident. But not everyone, mainly his father and my mom, were telling me, so when are you gonna like give him the boob next? Like give him the boob, like just try to do it again. And it's really hard when you're not the one experiencing, especially if you're a man. You don't really know anything about anything women have to go through with childbirth and breastfeeding. My mom, I thought she would kind of understand because I think she breastfed me for a while, but it was not really an encouraging environment. When you are a breastfeeding mother, you need an encouraging environment because it's not easy, but I don't really necessarily think I had that. I had more of a demanding, pressuring environment, and that's what made me feel really discouraged and kind of alone in a sense. So I continued pumping, and since everyone was harping on me, I decided, let me see another lactation consultant. I made an appointment for his pediatrician. I met with her, and we practiced a few different things. I felt good there with her coaching me and helping me and him get comfortable with each other, just like the other consultant did. A little bit more home. I tried it a few times. He was still fussy. Sometimes when I would give him a bottle, he was still fussy, just the same way he'd be fussy on my breast, and he would be just impatient. And it was just getting to the point where it was stressing me out because I didn't know if he was getting what he needed, and it made me feel like we weren't bonding. Breastfeeding is supposed to be to bond, they say, and some others feel like if they don't breastfeed, they can't bond with their child, but I personally feel like that's not true. After those few times after I met with that consultant, I just stopped breastfeeding and I solely just pumped, and I supplemented breast milk and formula, and me and my son's bond, I feel like it's great. I feel like he knows who I am. He reacts to who I am, and I feel like that can't be determined by if you breastfeed or not. It's not fair, in my opinion, to say that your child will only bond with you if you breastfeed. So after I had tried a few times and I decided I'm just gonna pump, my mom and my other people, they still were just telling me, like, just try again, like, you're not even, like, just do it again, like, he needs that, like, it's just crazy because this whole, from the hospital till then, no one had asked me how I felt about it. No one was trying to listen to me when I tried to explain about it. That's why I haven't got a chance to talk about it until now, and it's a scary thing to feel alone when you're trying to experience something for the first time. And that's how I felt. And it was just, I wish that I had someone there that was encouraging me and cheering me on and telling me that it was okay and that I was doing the best that I could, because I needed that. And I didn't have that. Because of that, I kind of went into an emotional down spiral. I will say that for another video, the details of that. Even through that, I was pretty much by myself, actually. So once I decided I was just gonna pump, I did feel a little bit better, and it took off some of the stress. Don't get me wrong, pumping is still stressful. It's very time consuming. People who do it, they don't get enough credit, honestly. It's very time consuming, and mothers who pump, props to them, because it takes time out of your day. People don't understand. They want you to get up and go, but you have to pump. You have to make that food for your baby. And I will also use some exclusively pumping videos as well. As of now, my milk supply has never been the highest. And my milk supply right now is very, very low, and it's very disheartening, and it's very stressful and aggravating when you're trying so hard and there's no production. So majority of the day, Liam gets breast milk. Formula. Majority of the day he gets formula. I had a stash of breast milk in my freezer, but he went through it because my milk supply has been so low. I had to dip into that. When he goes to his dad, I would send that, so that has vanished. So right now I am working on different things I can do to boost my milk supply. I will actually be making some videos on that. I'll have more breastfeeding videos and pumping videos. When I say breastfeeding, you're probably thinking like, girl, you don't even nurse. Well, I consider pumping a part of breastfeeding. It's still milk from your breast, if anyone's wondering. So yes, it's also a very crucial part of breastfeeding. So yeah, if you want to see my postpartum video, it will be on an iCard, and I will be bringing some pumping, breastfeeding videos and a postpartum depression video. I know this video is a little bit different. It's not funny. I don't know how it's gonna make anybody feel, but I just want to let you know, if you're a mother that's trying to breastfeed, don't beat yourself up if it's not working out or you feel like you need to take a different route. If your baby is fed and healthy, you're doing great. If you're doing all you can, you're doing great. And I wish I had someone to tell me that, so I'm telling you that. So yeah, if you're new here, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. Like, subscribe. You can share your stories or tips, tricks with breastfeeding and milk supply and stuff like that. And come back and see me soon. And hopefully Liam will be in the next video. It's weird if he was in a breastfeeding video. I don't know. Soon he'll be having his 5-month update, so you'll be seeing him soon. So bye.